Larissa, thank you. It is runoff election day in the city of Tampa. 4 races for city council will be decided by voters today. They are the citywide city council races in districts 1, 2, and 3. District 6 council seat race as well. Polls open at 7 this morning. They'll close at 7 tonight. You can only vote at your local polling place at this point. If you have a mail-in ballot, you must drop it off at a supervisor of elections office by 7 o'clock tonight for it to count. To learn more about the candidates vying for these seats, check the article out right now on the very front page of abcactionnews.com.
We are following breaking news right now. President Biden just announced that he is running for re-election. A video announcement posted to Twitter at 6:01 just a minute ago. The announcement comes 4 years to the date when President Biden announced his entrance in the 2020 presidential race. Let's get right out to our Washington correspondent, Joe St. George, this morning to talk about this. Joe, the president would be 86 years old at the end of a second term. His age is expected to be a challenge during his campaign.
Yeah, it is, and it's certainly impacting him in the polls. But here we go. Breaking news just moments ago, as you said, the president making it official. A 3-minute, 4-second video posted on President Joe Biden's social media handles. To some degree, Dia and James, this isn't a surprise. He's been hinting to journalists here in Washington, around the country, that he was always going to run for re-election. But because he's 80 years old, as you mentioned, he'd be 86 at the end of a hypothetical second term. There were more questions, and some polling is not exactly ideal for a candidate running for re-election. I think we can pop up on screen real quick. The Washington Post went back, looked at the last 8 major polls throughout 2022, 2023. Only around 37% or so of Democrats wanted Joe Biden, President Biden, to be their nominee again in 2024. 57% of Democrats wanted somebody else. So that is potentially a base problem, an enthusiasm problem. Remember, you need your base to knock on doors, make phone calls. Those numbers significantly lower than where former President Trump, former President Barack Obama stood when they announced their re-election plans. But official today, President Biden continuing what many of his predecessors have done really since the 1960s. Presidents tend to seek re-election, and that's the breaking news just happened minutes ago.
Okay, now let's get into who he might face in the presidential race. Yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said he is still not a candidate for president. Of course, that might change. But despite that, Joe, a recent NBC News Wall Street Journal poll found that DeSantis is leading Biden by 3 points in a head-to-head matchup. So Governor DeSantis, of course, also, even though he's not a candidate, he might not be the only challenger that President Biden faces.
Right, but Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, assuming if he gets in the race, and it certainly looks like he will, he'll have to get through former President Donald Trump first. That's going to be his big challenge. But as far as the Democratic side of things, those weaker than usual poll numbers for an incumbent president seeking re-election may have you thinking, well, is any major Democrats going to challenge the president? And the answer really is no thus far. We haven't seen major announcements from individuals like Governor Gavin Newsom of California, or Senator Cory Booker, or Senator Elizabeth Warren, or Senator Sanders. The field has been relatively clear, not completely. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is running. Marianne Williamson, a progressive advocate, is running for the Democratic nomination. But no major governor, no major senator as of yet. As far as the Republican side of things, that's the opposite. It's going to be an intense battle for the Republican nomination. Former President Trump remaining the front runner, but he is facing challengers already. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley's in the race, a host of others. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis expected to make an announcement perhaps in late May, early June. Former Vice President Mike Pence, another name that's been floated around. As far as debates, Republicans have set one. The RNC is going to debate in August in Milwaukee. Right now, it looks like Democrats are not holding any debates, although that could always change. We'll stay on top of it.
All right, thank you so much, Joe. Waiting to see if we're going to hear from the president later today. Joe St. George reporting live for us from Washington, D.C.